Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong and welcome to Pointless, the quiz show that puts obscure knowledge to the test. Let's meet today's players. And couple number one.
Hi, my name's Jamie, this is Josh. We're students and part-time rap artists from Nottingham.
Couple number two.
Hi, my name's Gary. This is my wife, Suzanne, and we're from Manchester.
Couple number three.
Hi, I'm Abby, and this is Pam, my mum, and we're from Birmingham.
And finally, couple number four.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and this is Joe, and we're a couple from London.
And these are today's contestants. Thanks, all of you. We'll find out more about you throughout the show as it goes along, so that just leaves one more person for me to introduce, a veritable Rolls-Royce of statistical retention and a Corby trouser press of crisp one-liners. It's my pointless friend. It's Richard.
Hiya. Hi, everybody. Hiya. Good day.
Good day to you.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Ah, you know what? Blake and Jamie already...
It's already good, isn't it?
Trouble like they were last time. They were difficult last time, weren't they? They gave it a little bit of that.
We had a bit of that.
Crashed out quite badly as well. I don't believe... Whoa, come on, guys, you did.
Yeah, it's debatable.
I don't believe they are part-time rap artists.
I'm not sure I believe that either.
Yeah, I believe Pam and Abby are.
Absolutely. You sussed us. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't think you'd work it out, Richard.
Yeah, you're going to get one over on me.
Yeah.
It should be a fun show today, though. It's lovely to have Blake and Jamie back. We've also got Susanna and Gary back. They did so well last time, didn't they?
Yeah.
They are going to be tough to beat today, everybody.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, all our questions on Pointless have been put to 100 people before the show. Our contestants here need to find the obscure answers those 100 people didn't get. Of course, everyone's trying to find a pointless answer. That's an answer that none of our 100 people gave. And each time that happens, we will add 250 quid to the jackpot. Mark and Phil didn't win the jackpot last time, so we add another £1,000 to that. So today's jackpot starts off at £3,500. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. OK, in this first round, I'll take an answer from each of you, but there is to be no conferring. And at the end of the round, whichever pair has the highest score will be heading home. OK, our first category today is countries. It's countries. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what the question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Asian countries with a coastline as they could. Asian countries with a coastline, Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for any country whose mainland territory is either wholly or partly in Asia, which has a coastline, please. So either has a coastline on a sea or an ocean, not an inland sea, but any ocean or sea. And as always, by country, I mean a sovereign state that is a member of the UN in its own right. Now,
Jamie and Blake, you all drew lots before the show, and today you are going to go first. Jamie. So, any country in Asia with a coastline.
I'm going to go for Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, says Jamie. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Sri Lanka. It's right. $37. Nothing wrong with that.
Good answer, Jamie. Well played. It's an island in the Indian Ocean.
Thanks, Richard. Suzanne. Suzanne, welcome to the show. Now, last time, head-to-head.
Yes.
You did very, very well, until the head-to-head.
Yeah, we were pretty bad in the head-to-head.
Now, remind us what you do, Suzanne.
I work for the Environment Agency.
And remind us what your hobbies are.
Well, we like to follow Formula 1.
So when you actually turn up to a Grand Prix, do you take binoculars and stuff, or...?
I hadn't thought of that. Might be a good idea, yeah.
Do you have a little, like a telly or the watch on your iPad or something and just see what's happening?
No, we're not that professional about it.
These are just some ideas I'm throwing out there, Suzanne. Now, what are you going to go for? Asian countries with a coastline.
Well, everyone should actually steer me really well with this, but I've gone a bit blank, but I'm going to go Saudi Arabia.
OK, Saudi Arabia. Well, let's find out if it has a coastline. If it has, let's see how many people said it. Absolutely right. Three, Suzanne. Now, that's a proper score. Look at that. 3 for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, good answer, Suzanne. It's got coastline on the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea as well.
Anyway, there we are. Abby, welcome to the show. Great to have you here. What do you do?
I'm a photographer. What's classed as a social photographer, so as opposed to an
the best kind of photographer
well,
to be,
as opposed
surely.
to antisocial. So
yeah.
weddings, portraits, pets, babies, that sort of thing.
Good-o. Now, what are you going to go for? Asian countries with a coastline.
Oh, I'm not happy because I'm afraid geography is about my worst possible subject. The only thing I can think of, and I'm not even sure if it's Asia, is Singapore.
Singapore,
Yeah.
says Abby. Let's see if Singapore's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Singapore. Absolutely right. $20 points for Singapore. Asian and with a coastline. Good answer, Abby.
Well done, Abby. It's only got 193 kilometres of coastline, but it does have one.
It counts.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
good.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Now, Matthew. Matthew, welcome to the show. What do you do, Matthew?
I work in IT.
Good stuff. And what do you like getting up to in your spare time?
I like cooking, actually. I really enjoy it.
Very good. What kind of cooking?
So Mediterranean stuff and some Asian stuff as well. Not sure if it's going to help with this question, but yeah, I like eating their food.
OK, well, what answers are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for Indonesia.
Indonesia, says Matthew. Indonesia. Quite a few coastlines there, I should think. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Indonesia. $33 for Indonesia.
Well, Singapore had less than 200 kilometres of coastline. Indonesia's got over 54,000 kilometres.
Thanks, Richard. Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at those scores. 3, the best score of that pass. Very well done. Suzanne and Gary can relax a little bit on the back of it. Then up to 20, where we find Abby and Pam. 27, Jamie and Blake. And then up to 33, Matthew and Joe. So, Joe, we need a nice low-scoring answer from you, as you are the high scorers at the moment. We're going to come back down the line now. Can the second players please step up to the podium? OK, so, Joe, we're looking for Asian countries with a coastline. Joe, what do you do?
I'm a technical evangelist at an IT company.
You're a technical evangelist?
Yes. I actually work with customers on building apps.
Is that fun?
Yeah, it's really good fun.
I have never come across a technical evangelist. Have you, Richard?
No.
No.
I've got a laptop that's never been plugged in for 500 episodes. I haven't. What do you reckon?
Joe, what are you going to go for?
Since we're the high scorers, I'm going to take a punt and say Yemen.
Yemen, says Joe. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said it. No red line for you, as you are the high scorers. It's right. Four. That's a great answer, Joe. Takes your total up to 37. I reckon that's enough to keep you in the game.
Nearly 2,000 kilometres of coastline in Yemen. It's been very important, Yemen's coastline, in human history. It's believed that when people first left Africa, that's where they landed, the coastline of Yemen.
Thanks, Richard. Pam. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, where have you come from, Pam?
Well, I come from Bexley Heath in Kent, really, but I moved up to Redditch 7 years ago, so I migrated.
You've migrated from
Yes.
Kent. And what fills your time, Pam?
Well, I've retired. I've got a strange collection of interests. I like watching cranes working on building sites. And I once worked for a firm that made all sorts of different gears, and I used to come home and talk to my children about, oh, I've seen a double helical gear.
She did.
And a rack and pinion. Did you know what a rack and pinion was?
No, a rack and pinion?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, I'll talk to you later.
So, Abby, that's quite a childhood.
Absolutely. Hanging around cranes, and she collects frogs as well. She didn't mention the frogs.
Not live ones.
No.
No. Furry ones, China ones, knick-knack frogs, pillowcases.
Do you know how many frogs you have, Pam?
No, no idea. And I've never bought one myself.
No.
Not bought a single one.
It was quite a childhood, actually.
That sounds like an excellent childhood. Now, Pam.
Yes.
What about an Asian country with a coastline?
South Korea.
South Korea, says Pam. South Korea. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said it. Here comes your red line. You want to score 16 or less, and it looks like that. Get below that, you're in the next round. It's right. 25. I think that's good enough. 25 takes your total up to 45.
Well played, Pam. That's a good answer. I quite like watching cranes on building sites as well. I've never felt able to say it before, but I sort of do. If ever you see a crane on a building site, you go, oh, look at that.
I like those cranes they have on skyscrapers, where the cranes, they build a bit of stuff and then the cranes go up.
On the top.
Oh, yeah.
That's a crane, isn't it?
That's a crane. Oh, I wouldn't like to be the man who had to climb up into that cabin. Thanks very much indeed. Now, Gary. Gary, welcome back.
Thank you.
Remind us what you do, Gary.
Graphic designer.
Graphic design and big Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, there you are on 3. The high scorers at the moment are Pam and Abby on 45. If you can score 41 or less, you're in the next round.
Well, most of my answers went. So I was really, really stressing. But if Pam doesn't mind, I'm going to give her a big kiss later. Because I'm going to go with North Korea.
Now look what you've done.
Here comes your red line. If you get below that with North Korea, you're through to the next round. Is it right? How many people said it? North Korea. It is right. And you're through. Very well done, Gary. 19. 22, your total.
Well played, Gary. Cheeky, but yeah, that's what you got to do to win, isn't it? They've got 28 approved haircuts in North Korea. You've got to have
Just
one
the
of them.
28?
Yeah.
Right. OK, now, Blake. Blake, 27 is your score. 45 is the high score. If you can score 17 or less, you remain with us.
It has to be 17 or less.
Do you want me to give you an idea of what the only answers that have scored less than 17?
Please give me an idea, yeah, sure.
Well, North Korea scored 19, then we had Yemen on 4 and Saudi Arabia on 3.
I know, that was crazy. I can't believe that. I was originally going to go with Singapore. I think India's too obvious. I'm going to have to say Thailand.
Thailand, says Blake. Thailand. Here comes your red line. If you get below that red line with Thailand, you're in round 2. Let's see if it's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Thailand. It's right. Oh, bad luck, Blake. 56, I'm afraid. 56, taking your total up to 83.
Yeah, over 3,000 kilometres of coastline in Thailand, but a big score there. Answers that would have seen you through. Turkey would have seen you through with 11 points. Bangladesh would have seen you through with 9 points. Cambodia with 14. Philippines with 17 would have seen you through. The Maldives with 8 would have seen you through. Kuwait with 4. Brunei with 4. Both of those would have seen you through. There's only one pointless answer on the board. It's only got 26 kilometres of coastline, and it's Jordan. So very well done if you said Jordan. The UAE and Qatar both would have scored you 1. You'd have also got 1 for Timor-Leste, East Timor as we sometimes call it. Georgia would have scored you 1. Oman would have scored you 1. Israel and Bahrain both would have scored you 2. Iraq would have scored you 3, as would Syria, and Iran would have scored you 4. Let's take a look at the top answers, the ones that most of our 100 people said. Japan would have scored you 59. China would have scored you 67. And, yeah, there'd been no point going for India. It's the biggest scorer of all, as you suspected. Blake would have scored you 71 points, big scorer.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So at the end of our first round, I'm afraid the pair heading home with their high score is not that high, but it's just the highest score of 83. I'm afraid it's Blake and Jamie. I'm so sorry, but you could easily have thought of those ones, couldn't you, without the pressure on?
I did have Iran in my head, but that is the game. That is the game.
Oh, well, I'm afraid we have to say goodbye. This time it really is goodbye, but it's been great having you on the show. Thanks very much for playing, Blake and Jamie. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's now time for round 2. Well, now only 3 pairs remain. Obviously, at the end of this round, we'll be saying goodbye to another pair, but you all played very well in that round. Pam and Abby, lovely, solid performance from you.
Thank you.
Suzanne, lovely low score, the best score of the round, in fact, 3 points for you. And Joe and Matthew, very, very well done indeed, and well done, all 3 pairs. Our category for round 2 is bands. Bands. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, and the question concerns bands with missing members. Bands with missing members. Richard.
On each pass, we're going to show you 6 lineups of bands in their most famous incarnation, but we've missed 1 name out of the list. So we're going to give you all the members of the group, but we missed out 1. Can you tell us which one we missed out, please? There's going to be 12 in all to get at home.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. OK, so we are looking for the missing member of each of these bands, and here's our first board of 6. Peter Buck, Mike Mills, Bill Berry, Dave Rowntree, Damon Albarn, Graham Coxon, Larry Mullen Jr., Bono, Adam Clayton, Johnny Buckland, Will Champion, Guy Berryman, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, Jimmy Page, Annefrid Frida Lyngstad, Agnetha Faltskog, and Bjorn Ulvaeus. I'll read those again. Peter Buck, Mike Mills, Bill Berry, Dave Rowntree, Damon Albarn and Graham Coxon, Larry Mullen Jr., Bono, Adam Clayton, Johnny Buckland, Will Champion, Guy Berryman, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, Jimmy Page, and Annefrid Frida Lyngstad, Agnetha Faltskog and Bjorn Ulvaeus. There we go, Suzanne. There's a board of 6 bands. Can you supply the missing member?
I know a couple, so I'm struggling to decide which one will be least because I think they'll probably both be quite high. But I'll go with Alex James, and that's for the second one down, with Dave Rowntree, Damon Albarn and Graham Coxon.
OK, Alex James, says Suzanne. Let's see if Alex James is right to complete that band, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. Is right. Not bad at all. 12 for Blur.
Yet another good answer from Suzanne as well. I wouldn't want to be Gary right about now. Yeah, he's the bassist from Blur, Alex James.
Thanks, Rich. Now, Abby.
Yeah. I only actually recognise 2 of them. One is my husband's favourite band, but I think that might be a bit too easy. So I'm going to go for Larry Mullen, Bono, Adam Clayton. I think it's missing the edge.
The Edge. The Edge, says Abby. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said The Edge. Is right. 38. Not bad at all, Abby.
It's a very good answer, yeah. He takes 45 different guitars on tour with him, The Edge. That's a lot of guitars, isn't it? 45 completely different ones. His real name is David Evans.
Matthew, so who are the missing members of these bands?
It's a bit of a shot in the dark, but I'm going to go with Dave Windorf as the second from bottom.
Dave Windorf, says Matthew. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Dave Windorf. No bad luck, Matthew. I'm afraid Dave Windorf, an incorrect answer. Sorry.
Sorry, Matthew. Yeah, Dave Windorf is in Monster Magnet, the US band. This is a much more famous band. This is Led Zeppelin, and the missing name is Robert Plant. Would have scored you 16 points. Now, I bet you're fairly good at some of these. Peter Buck, Mike Mills, Bill Berry.
That's the what's it
R.E.M.
R.E.M. exactly. Michael Stipe.
Michael Stipe. Yep. Would have scored you 8 points. Now, the best answer on the board is this one: Johnny Buckland, Will Champion, Guy Berryman. Everyone knows the lead singer.
And it's Chris Martin.
Chris Martin of Coldplay, yes, would have scored you 3. And the bottom group is obviously ABBA.
Well, it's ABBA, but it's Benny. But what is his surname? I would never know that.
Benny Anderson.
Of course it is, Benny Anderson.
Benny Anderson would have scored you 31 points. So Coldplay, the best answer there.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at those scores. 12, the best score of that pass. Suzanne, you've done it again. The lowest scorer. Then up to 38, where we find Abby and Pam. Then up to 100, Matthew and Joe, where we find you. You never know. It's going to get harder, this board, as it comes back down the line. So, Joe, if you find a good low score, it might be enough to keep you in the round. You never know. Best of luck with that. We come back down the line now. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we're going to put 6 more bands up on the board, and here they are. Sebastian Isambard, Carlos Marin and Urs Buller. Ed O'Brien, Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway. Apple Diap, Taboo and Fergie. Martin Kemp, Gary Kemp, John Keeble, Steve Norman. Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Liam Payne, Louis Tomlinson. And Freddie Mercury, John Deacon, Brian May. I'll read those all one last time. Sebastian Isambard, Carlos Marin and Urs Buller. Ed O'Brien, Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway. Apple Diap, Taboo, Fergie. Martin Kemp, Gary Kemp, John Keeble, Steve Norman. Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Liam Payne, Louis Tomlinson. And Freddie Mercury, John Deacon, Brian May. Now, remember, we are looking for the missing members of these bands, Joe. And you need to find the lowest scoring one you know.
This is really not a good subject for me. So the only one I think I know is The third one down with Fergie and Taboo, I'd say will.i.am.
will.i.am, says Joe. will.i.am. Let's see if that's right. There's no red line for you as you're the high scorers. But let's see how far down the column will.i.am can take you. Absolutely right. 37. 137 your total there, Joe.
Well done, Joe. You put yourself 99 points ahead of Pam there. Might be all important. You never know. Yeah, will.i.am. I like will.i.am.
I really like will.i.am.
You know, I don't know if I'd like to spend too much time in his company because he seems a bit busy. But he comes across very well, doesn't he?
He's amazing. Yeah. I think he's brilliant. Now then, Pam. Pam. You need to score 98 or less to get through to the next round.
Well, the only group I recognise is Queen, Freddie Mercury. And I don't know who the missing person is. So I'm going to say David Evans.
David Evans. Yeah. OK. Moonlighting from U2. Let's see, though. David Evans, here comes your red line. If you get below that red line, you are through to the head-to-head. But let's see if David Evans is the missing member of Queen. Oh, bad luck, Pam.
No, didn't think he was.
Bad luck. I'm afraid an incorrect answer, which takes your total up to 138. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Pam. Tough category there for you. It'll be cranes next time.
Or frogs.
Types of frogs.
Gary, here is a chance for you, your last chance on Pointless, to get a lower score than Suzanne.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Do you fancy talking us through the board?
OK, I do know the lead singer of Spandau Ballet, and I can't for the life think of his name. I also know the drummer of Queen, and I can't think of his surname. Oh, this is terrible. I'm just going to get so much stick when I get home for this. I'm going to have to... OK, I'm not going to make her name up for Queen, because that'll be sacrilege. What normally happens when nobody's got an answer?
I think normally you say David Evans is normally the...
OK, I'm going to say Dave Evans for the second one down.
You're going to say Dave Evans for...
yeah, I have no idea.
That second band down. No red line for you, Gary. You're already through. So David Evans doesn't really matter. But still, we'll find out. Is David Evans in that second band down? No. Alas, he's not. I'm afraid that scores you the maximum of 100 points. I'm not sure you're that surprised to discover. 112 is your total.
Sorry, Gary. Suzanne, could we get you a chair or anything? I'm very aware you've been carrying a full-grown man for 2 shows now.
Do you know, when we watch this at home, he's so much better at it than me. I swear, he gets all the answers better than I do. I think I've just got lucky.
Well, you're through to the head-to-head, so...
You're very kind as well.
It's, you know, you may come good at the end, Gary. Now, let's go through the rest of these. Gary, could you remember the first name of the drummer from Queen?
Roger?
Roger, yeah, it's Roger Taylor. Roger Taylor, that's right, Abby. Would have scored 28 points. Now, where should we start? You couldn't remember the name of the Spandau Ballet frontman. That's the Martin Kemp, Gary Kemp one.
Tony Hadley.
Tony Hadley is his name. Would have scored 15 points. Now, One Direction, of course, Harry Styles, there's Niall, lovely Liam. Who's the missing member?
Zayn
My favourite.
Malik.
Zayn
Your
Malik,
favourite.
Yeah. Would have scored you 13 points. Now, the second group down, Ed O'Brien, Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway. Yeah, it's Radiohead, so the missing name is Tom York. Would have scored you 5. Now, the top one, I didn't get this one. Sebastian Isambard, Carlos Marin, Urs Buller. I was thinking maybe of some kind of European heavy metal band or something like that.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually Il Divo. Il Divo, the singers. And the missing name is David Miller. David Miller. Right. It's a pointless answer, so very well played if you said that.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So at the end of that round, I'm afraid it's Pam and Abby we have to say goodbye to with your high score of 100. Pam, I'm sorry. And we should both say sorry.
Sorry, Pam.
Sorry, Pam, for giving you that round.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was tough. That was a really tough board.
It was close.
I mean, as you said, no frogs, no cranes in sight.
No.
But the great news for us is we get to see you again next time.
Good.
We'll look forward to that very much
And don't
indeed.
do anything like that again.
We won't. No, all right.
You've been told.
Sorry, Pam. But thanks very much. Thanks so much, Pam. Pam and Abby, lovely contestants. But for the remaining 2 pairs, it's now time for the head-to-head. Congratulations, Susan and Gary, Joe and Matthew. You're now one step closer to the final and a chance to play for our jackpot, which currently stands at £3,500. Now, to decide which pair is going to play for that money, you're now going to go head-to-head. The big difference is you're now allowed to confer. The first pair to win 2 questions will be playing for that jackpot. Now, Suzanne and Gary, you've been here before. Now, Gary, as Richard said, this is your time to shine. Joe and Matthew, very, very solid. Great performance from you all the way through. Best of luck to both pairs. I think this is going to be very close. Let's play the head-to-head. OK, here comes your first question, and it concerns England goalkeepers. England goalkeepers, Richard.
We're going to show you 5 pictures now of goalkeepers who've won caps for England. Can you tell us the most obscure, please? Good luck.
Thanks very much indeed. OK, let's reveal our 5 England goalkeepers, and here they are. We have got A, B, C, D, and E. There you have them, 5 England goalkeepers. Who are they? Now then, Suzanne and Gary, you go first, as you've played best throughout the show so far.
We're going to go with E, Gordon Banks.
Gordon Banks, say Gary and Suzanne. Gordon Banks. Now, Joe and Matthew. Do you want to take us through the board?
No.
Well, I knew C was Joe Hart.
I thought I knew who A was, and then it went. So I think we're going to have to play it safe and go for C.
No, just take a gamble, because if we do C,
OK,
it's going to be high.
We'll take a gamble. This might be embarrassing, but we'll go B, Peter Shilton.
B, Peter Shilton, say Joe and Matthew. So we have Gordon Banks and Peter Shilton. Gary and Suzanne said Gordon Banks for E. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said Gordon Banks. It's right. 34. Joe and Matthew, meanwhile, are saying Peter Shilton for B. Peter Shilton for B. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said Peter Shilton. It's right. 43, though. Very well done, Suzanne and Gary. After one question, you're up 1-0.
The most capped England player of all time, Peter Shilton, 125 caps. Now, funnily enough, I think both teams knew C, which is Joe Hart. Would have scored fewer points than both of those. Would have scored 30. Would have scored 30. A is another more recent one. It's Paul Robinson. He would have scored you 12 points. And the best answer on the board is D. Very well done to anyone at home who said Ron Springett. He's played for QPR, Sheffield Wednesday. He also played for England. Of course, Ron Springett.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, here comes your second question, Joe and Matthew. You get to answer it first, but you have to win it to stay in the game. It concerns Arthurian legend. Arthurian legend, Richard.
I'm going to give you 5 clues now to facts concerning the myths and legends of King Arthur. Can you give us the most obscure answer?
OK, thanks very much. Let's reveal our 5 clues, and here they come. We have got the usual name of the sword given to Arthur by the Lady in the Lake, the name of King Arthur's wife, the author of the 15th century work Morte d'Arthur, the title of the 1963 animated Disney film about Arthur, and the shape of the famous table at which Arthur sat with his knights at court. I'll read those one last time. The usual name of the sword given to Arthur by the Lady in the Lake, the name of King Arthur's wife, the author of the 15th century work Morte d'Arthur, the title of the 1963 animated Disney film about Arthur, and the shape of the famous table at which Arthur sat with his knights at court. There we are. Joe and Matthew, you go first.
I know the answer to all of them except the middle.
What's the answer to be?
Well, we know 4 of them, but it's just about deciding which one's the most obscure. So we're going to go for the title of the 1963 animated Disney film about Arthur, and say The Sword in the Stone.
The Sword in the Stone, say Joe and Matthew for the Disney film. Suzanne and Gary, the board is yours. Talk us through it.
I think we probably had the same 4. So the sword is Excalibur, the wife is Guinevere, and the table is round. So, Guinevere?
Yeah.
Guinevere, you're going to say? Suzanne and Gary say Guinevere. So we have Sword in the Stone versus Guinevere. Joe and Matthew went for the Sword in the Stone. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. It's right. 44. Suzanne and Gary have said Guinevere was King Arthur's wife. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said that. 44 is what you've got to beat. Ooh, not quite 49. Bad luck. Which means Joe and Matthew are back in the game. Well done. After 2 questions, it's 1-1.
Good head-to-head. Both teams knew the same 4 there, I think, and you both chose the right ones. You couldn't have done better with the 4 you knew, because the top one is Excalibur, that would have scored you 69 points, and the bottom one is a round table. It's a very big scorer, though. Would have scored you 91. So the only answer, actually, that would have done for all of these is the author of Morte d'Arthur. It is Sir Thomas Malory, and would have scored you 9 points, so very well done if you got that.
Thanks very much indeed. OK, here comes your 3rd question. Whoever wins this goes through to the final. Best of luck to both pairs. It concerns philosophers. Philosophers, Richard.
We're about to show you the names of 5 philosophical heavyweights, but we've removed alternate letters from their name. Can you fill in those gaps and give us the most obscure answer? Good luck, both teams.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. Let's reveal our 5 philosophers, and here they are. E blank, I blank, U blank, U blank, K blank, R blank, M blank, R blank, S blank, C blank, A blank, E blank, R blank, N blank, D blank, S blank, A blank, T blank, S, and finally, A blank, I blank, T blank, T blank, E. I'll read those again without the blanks. E, I, U, U, K, R, M, R, S, C, A, E, R, N, D, S, A, T, S, and A, I, T, T, E at the bottom. There we are. 5 philosophers with bits missing. Suzanne and Gary, you go first.
OK. We're not sure we've got the name exactly right, but the second from the bottom might be René Descartes.
OK, yep, René Descartes. Say Suzanne and Gary. Joe and Matthew, what are you going to go for?
Well, I think the bottom one is Aristotle. The middle one was...
Socrates.
I think we should go for the bottom.
But there's 2 T's, it's kind of obvious. If you got the bottom one and you didn't get the middle one, we should probably go for the middle one.
OK, I think we're going to go for the middle one, and it's going to be...
Socrates.
Socrates, say Joe and Matthew. So we have René Descartes and we have Socrates. Suzanne and Gary said René Descartes. Let's see if that's right. If it is, let's see how many people said that. It's right. Very well done indeed. 8 for Descartes. Joe and Matthew have gone for the middle one, Socrates. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said Socrates. Absolutely right. 47, bad luck. Very well done, though, Suzanne and Gary. That means after 3 questions, you're through to the final 2-1.
Very well played. There's only one answer out there that would have beaten René Descartes, and it's the top one, which is Epicurus. Very well done if you said that. Would have scored 3 points. It's a terrific answer. The next one down, surprisingly low score.
Karl Marx.
It's Karl Marx, yep. Would have scored 15. And you're right, the bottom one was Aristotle. Would have been a better answer than Socrates, but still not enough to see you through. So it would have scored 30 points.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. So at the end of our head-to-head round, I'm afraid to say it's Joe and Matthew who will be leaving us. But it's good news, really, because it means we'll see you again next time. Otherwise, you'd have gone straight through to the final, and that would have been it. And we'll look forward to that very much indeed. You played so well today. It all bodes very well for next time. Thanks very much for playing, Joe and Matthew. But for Suzanne and Gary, it's now time for our pointless final. Congratulations, Suzanne and Gary. You've seen off all the competition, and you have won our coveted pointless trophy. You now have a chance to win our pointless jackpot, and at the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £3,500. You have done so well. I'm kind of looking at you, Suzanne. But you have done so well today. We've tested all sorts of different areas of your knowledge. Here you are in the final round. What would you like to see come up this round?
Well, probably music, but we've had a music round, so I'm not going to show whether that would play out.
Films, maybe? Films?
Yeah, maybe films.
OK, well, best of luck. As always, you kick this round off by choosing a category, and you have 4 options to choose from. They are Booker Prize winners, popular Irish music, acting stand-ups, Madrid.
You got another 4?
Remember, there are 3 subcategories within each of those, though, and they're usually quite free-ranging, so there should be something.
When we said music, we weren't thinking of Irish music, although my dad has taught me a good knowledge of Foster and Allen, so I don't know whether that might help.
Do you know enough Foster and Allen?
Not enough to admit to, no.
Acting stand-ups, so that'd be
stand-up comedians who do... Yeah, maybe that's probably our best one, isn't it, from that? Acting stand-ups.
Acting stand-ups, please.
Acting stand-ups it is.
I like
Richard.
the fact you said we want film or music. We give you a film and a music question, and you're still not happy. Let's take a look at the 3 things you can choose between in this category. Can you give us the name of any film starring Omid Djalili up to February 2013? Any film starring Lee Evans up to the same date? Or any film starring Steve Coogan up to that same date, please. So any feature film made for cinema release for which any of these 3 have received a credit. As always, no short films, no TV films, anything like that, but voice performances do count. So Omid Djalili, Lee Evans, Steve Coogan. Best of luck. OK, as always, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers, and all you need to win that jackpot of £3,500 is to find just 1 pointless answer. Now, remember, your answers can come from any of those 3 categories. It can be 1 from each, all 3 from one, 2 from one, 1 from another. It's entirely up to you. Are you ready?
Yep.
OK, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. There they are. Your time starts now.
The Omid guy is the least well-known of the 3, so people least likely. Was he in The Dictator that we were watching with Jacob?
I'm not remember. There's something I can remember him being in, but it doesn't come in.
It might have
was
been
recent.
in that.
We watched it recently. Coogan obviously did 24-hour Party People. It's going to be known. He did Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah.
What other Hollywood films has he done? He's done quite a few. Lee Evans.
Lee Evans.
I think was he in something? Was it, Clockwork or Mousetrap or something? One of those 2, something like that.
Yeah.
Mousetrap.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm out really. So.
We've got something to
The
give.
The Coogan one.
10 seconds left.
Around the World in 80 Days and 24-Hour Party People.
Yeah.
And the Omid Djalili one. Should we take a risk and say?
OK, that's your time up. I now need your 3 answers. What are you going to give me?
We'll go 2 Steve Coogan films, at least we know that. 24-Hour Party People.
24-Hour Party People.
And Around the World in 80 Days.
Around the World in 80 Days.
And Mousetrap.
OK, got that.
Mousetrap, Lee Evans.
Mousetrap.
It's a punt.
OK, of those 3, which is your best shot at a pointless answer, do you think?
One of them.
Which one?
Around the World in 80 Days, maybe.
Maybe.
OK, Around the World in 80 Days, we'll put that last. Which is your least likely, do you think, to be pointless?
Mousetrap, because it's a...
Mousetrap, because there's a good chance it might be wrong.
Yeah.
OK, let's put those up on the board in that order, and here they are. We have got Mousetrap, 24-Hour Party People, and Around the World in 80 Days. Well, very, very best of luck. Your first answer was Mousetrap. Now, obviously, if this is correct and it's pointless, you will win that jackpot, £3,500. What would you do with that, Suzanne?
Well, continuing the F1 theme, really. Go somewhere a bit more exciting, like Singapore, something like that.
Singapore, very good.
Be amazing.
Yeah. Gary?
I'd buy Suzanne some very comfortable shoes and treat her to a spa weekend to help that back, because it took a lot of weight.
Yeah.
The last 2 games.
Good stuff. OK, so your first answer, Mousetrap, for £3,500. Let's find out, was Mousetrap a Lee Evans film? No, bad luck. Bad luck. An incorrect answer, as it turns out. So only 2 more chances to win today's jackpot. Your second answer, on slightly firmer ground here, was 24-Hour Party People. Let's just find out if that's correct And if it's pointless, you will win that jackpot. So for £3,500, let's find out. 24-hour Party People. Is it a Steve Coogan film? It most definitely is. Now, your first answer, Mousetrap, was incorrect. Your second answer, bang on the money, taking you down through the 30s, through the 20s, into the teens. 24-hour Party People now going into the single figures. Down it goes to 2. That's a very, very respectable answer. Great score. Sadly, not pointless. So only one more chance to win. It's all riding on your third and final answer. This was, though, to be fair, the answer you thought was probably your best shot at a pointless. So let's find out. For £3,500, is Round the World in 80 Days a Steve Coogan film? It is. Mousetrap was incorrect. 24-hour Party People, absolutely correct, and took you down to 2. Now this, Around the World in 80 Days, takes you down 7. Bad luck. 2 very good answers there, 2 fantastic scores as well, but sadly, none of them pointless, which I'm afraid means you don't win today's jackpot of £3,500. That will roll over onto the next show, but we've really enjoyed having you on the programme, and you've done such a good job, and you, of course, get to take home a pointless trophy each, so very, very well done.
Thank you. We've loved being here.
Yeah, sorry, Suzanne, sorry, Gary, you've been brilliant for 2 shows. You've been great fun as well. Thanks so much for coming on. Mousetrap, the film you think of was Mouse Hunt, which would have scored you 9 points, Lee Evans' film. Let's take a look at the pointless answers for all of them. Now, Omid Jalili's biggest films would have been The Mummy and Gladiator, but he was pointless answers for the Anton Deck film Alien Autopsy. He was in Sex and the City 2. I think some people might have got that. He was with Jude Law in Sky Captain and The World of Tomorrow, and he's also got a part in The World Is Not Enough, the Bond movie. Very well done if you said any of those. Lee Evans, his biggest film was There's Something About Mary, but these are all pointless. Freeze Frame, Plots with a View, The Ladies' Man and Vacuums. Well done if you said any of those. And for Steve Coogan, these are the pointless ones. He stars with Anne Hathaway in Ella Enchanted, In the Loop, which is the film version of The Thick of It, the TV show, Marie Antoinette, and it is because of voice performance in Marmaduke, the live-action version of Marmaduke. Very well done if you said any of those at home, and hope none of them rang a bell here.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to you, Suzanne and Gary, but we've loved having you on the show. Thank you so much for playing. Suzanne and Gary, great contestants. Well, sadly, Suzanne and Gary didn't win our jackpot today, which means it rolls over onto the next show when we will be playing for £4,500. Join us next time, see if someone can win it. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.